Let's go with Alda in South Carolina.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Alda. How are you?
Good. Since you are having a day, as it were, I thought I would propose a very silly question.
Okay. Oh, hold on just a second. I'm putting a description in the lower third for you right now. I didn't get to do that earlier. Um, let's see. Your pronouns are she, her, and you are from South Carolina. Okay,
Yes, the
there we go.
kakalaki.
Yeah, doing it on my own, I'm not able to be as smooth as if we had two hosts. So it says in the description you're a believer and you want to talk about cryptids.
I do. I was curious with a silly question because cryptids are silly and fantastic.
Sure.
What is your favorite cryptid?
I could have said at one point. There's so many. I don't know. I feel like every time I go onto the SCP website, I find a new one. We're constantly creating new ones. I think the most recent one that comes to mind is the knot deer. You're in South Carolina. That should be something you recognize.
They're fantastic and horrifying.
It's funny about that. V's gonna kill me because V's the one who brought this to my attention and we looked into it together. So for people who don't know what the knot deer is, we got to save this for Halloween. But the fact that you're calling in about it is great. I do want to get to some kind of God belief at some point, but I do want to respond to this. So the idea of the knot deer, tell me if I'm wrong, is if you're out hunting, especially if you're out deer hunting, you see a group of deer, but one of them just does not look the same. It has maybe extra long legs. It's not afraid. It doesn't run away with the other deer when a gunshot goes. If you see it, do not acknowledge it. Turn around and walk away.
Pretty much.
Right?
They also, there's something very off about them.
Yeah.
The knot deer are incredibly unsettling, and they evidently will watch you.
So
whereas most deer could care less or do the, oh my God, it's a person. The knot deer.
Yeah.
No.
So I know it's not rabies, but there is a wasting disease that causes those symptoms in deer.
Yes.
It eats at their brains. The creepiest thing about that cryptid is that there's a basis there in something that's even scarier. And the reality is that these animals are suffering. They're unable to understand the world around them. Their body is falling apart. And they could become violent. I don't think it's rabies, but I forget what it is. I'm trying to take a look in the live chat to see if somebody can point out what exactly it is. But if you haven't looked up the core of the knot deer, that disease, do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, because I live near a bunch of people that hunt, and it's one of the things where they're like, if you see a deer that looks like this, don't, call DNR, which is the Department of Natural Resources, get him tag bagged and out of the populace.
Yes. Although I do want to say also for people who are hunting, if you do see an animal that could be exhibiting those symptoms, do not shoot them in the head. Because if it is rabies, that could spread. You do not want to get that contaminated brain matter out in the wild. But yeah, if you could do it safely. Sorry, public service announcement.
No, that's completely a good thing to mention.
Oh,
because my favorite is Nessie.
Yeah, that one's quaint. That one feels quaint.
I have loved Nessie since I was 4 or 5 years old, and I found a book about cryptids.
Mm-hmm.
Because the appeal of cryptids to me is the fact that they are something that we've witnessed that we don't have explanation for, that we're willing to, collect the scientific data on and go, could this exist?
Yeah.
Because, we've had so many animals go extinct that we find again, or things that we go, oh, this couldn't exist, and then years later in the Yucatan Basin, they're like, check out what I found.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't just wishful thinking on Nessie. It feels like there's been enough investigation that if there was something, like there's definitely absence of evidence where evidence would be expected for Nessie. But I got one more for you.
True.
Have you looked into skinwalkers?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, if you want to
yes.
not sleep for like 3 days, go to indigenous TikTok and watch people talking about skinwalkers. It freaks me the hell. I'm a grown ass man. It freaks me the hell out.
Technically you shouldn't be saying their names or the thing that starts with a W.
What's the one that starts with a W?
Win? Wendigo.
Wendigo. Oh, I need to really look into that. I know about Wendigos from Supernatural, and I don't think I can trust Sam and Dean Winchester on that one. But
no, that's taking a legend and doing good TV with it. But like, you know, that's one of those things that yet again I go, okay, this is based in something.
It could be.
And you still hear stories about it from like the guys who like to go out and do the massive treks into the middle of nowhere. But like, you know, some of these things, they have really good documentation. But then again, you know, in the middle of the night, something lurking around your tent or your cabin, you know, and all you can see is this amorphous shape. Your brain fills stuff in.
It absolutely
And then, you know,
does.
there are times when you come face to face with something, you're like, that doesn't compute. This is what I think I saw.
And after the fact, you'll add stuff to the story. And there are other reasons, not just that. Like for me, I mean, I grew up in a Mexican neighborhood. I'm half Mexican, and one of the things that I was told growing up near a river was that a woman named La Llorona drowned her children in that river, and La Llorona would call for her children, and if she found you, she would take you to the river and drown you. And it was the sound of the wind whistling through the trees that would be La Llorona's call, and it was a great way to get us in before dark when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But Alda, I wish I had more time to talk to you. I've got like 7 more callers, but this was fun. That was a good palate
I look
cleanse.
forward to calling you back at Halloween for a whole special one.
Oh my gosh, we absolutely should. So, okay. Anyway, Alda, thank you for calling in.
Not a problem. Have a wonderful day, and send my love to V and the kitty.
Will do. I think it was like 5 years ago. I remember the Scathing Atheist guys did a Halloween spooktacular, and I've been wanting to do a spooktacular, but I didn't want to steal it from them. Is 5 years long enough? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. All right, I think we have time for one more call, and we have multiple theist callers, we have multiple atheist callers, and so many of them are so dang good. I don't know what to do. I really genuinely don't. There's Steve in Michigan who wants to talk about the big 5 of truth judgments, who's called before. Joshua, who's called before. You know what? We're going to take 2 more callers. For our call screeners, we're going to take Josh in North Carolina, and we're going to take John in Canada.